Hey everyone, it's Coach Servola, and welcome back to The Power of Yes. This podcast is where we say yes to clarity, courage, and becoming everything that we are created to be. And in today's episode is really one of those real talk moments that can really shift everything in your life. And it's really about clearing the chaos or resetting your focus to make room for success. So let me ask you, when was the last time that you felt like your space, your schedule, and your systems were actually working for you and not against you? So today we're going to get real about the clutter, the physical, mental, and digital clutter that can stand between you and your next level. Because listen, if your life or business feels a bit chaotic, it's not a lack of capacity. It could possibly be a lack of clarity, a lack of systems and boundaries. So let's fix it together. All right. Now, many of you already know, you've heard me say, and in previous episodes that I was diagnosed with ADHD, AD. So maybe if you don't know, now you know. So when I think about this whole aspect of how clutter affects your energy and your productivity, it really kind of hits home for me because it's something that I deal with on a consistent basis. It's just really sticking to my systems. I even have a saying that I had, put everything in its place, or everything has a place. So I'm reminding myself that everything has a place, so put it in its place. And I do that because when things are out of place, it creates clutter. And when they're out of place physically, visually, it starts to weigh on my emotions and my energy. Every pile, every tab, every unfinished task is like a silent energy drain. It's just sucking it out of me. So in business, clutter creates decision fatigue. You waste time searching for what you need, and you actually wind up second guessing yourself and second guessing every next step because you don't have things the way that you need to have them. So where in your life or business are you constantly managing mess? Yeah, I said it, managing mess instead of building momentum. And I think that's so important for us to understand that we need to figure out how to manage the momentum and build the momentum instead of managing the mess. Managing the mess is just a distraction. But building that momentum, boy, that's going to get us to where we want to be a lot faster. So I want you to identify your clutter zones. You heard me. It's almost like, da-na-na-na. If you ever grew up watching The Twilight Zone, I can't even think of how that tune goes, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. Identify your clutter zones. Where's the physical clutter? Is it your desk? Is it your bag, your car, your kitchen, your closet? What around you affects what is within you? So I want you to take a hard, fast look at those areas right now. You're listening to me, but I want you to just kind of browse around and be like, oh, okay, it's that desk over there. It's got a couple of papers stacked up. Probably need to take care of that. Or is it that purse? Ladies, you already know how we can, have a cluttered purse. But I've got some friends on social media that I really like who really organize themselves very well. So thanks to Nikki, I tend to have a more structured way of being able to organize my purse. But what about your cars? What about your kitchens? What about your closets? What around you is affecting you? Because one of the things that I recognized when I had to start really getting a handle on my ADHD is building systems. And let me just be clear about this. Like, sometimes you could build the most perfect system, but if you don't build a system to sustain the system, then the system is not going to keep going. And so sometimes it's not a failure to launch. It is the actual act of launching itself that gets some of us in trouble. So let me move on. I digress from physical clutter to digital clutter. What about those thousands of emails that you got in your inbox or your scattered Google Drive where there's no organization? What about those 18 tabs that you leave open in your web browser? Yep, it counts. Think about that. What about your workflows? If you're starting from scratch every single week, You don't need more hustle. You need a system. You need a system. All of these things can be navigated better with the right systems in place. And listen, I know there's a lot of strategies out there. I know there's a lot of systems out there. You just got to find the one that works for you. And you've got to give yourself space for grace until that happens. So don't expect it to be perfect. Just because it works well for someone else doesn't mean it's going to always work well for you. So find the right systems that work for you. And then from there, go and grow. So when you think about what clutter zone are you currently or is currently costing you the most? Is it your home? Is it your digital space? Or is it your business flow? Which one of them? Or is it all of the above? It could be that too. So once you know your clutter zone, then you can start thinking about simple systems to really start to plug into those in order to bring some order into your life and business. And so we're going to start with some small wins. Maybe it's an inbox reset. Oh my goodness, yes. Going into your email and just doing a little bit of reset. Or maybe it's a Sunday planning session. Or it could be just as small as naming your files properly. Thinking of a way that you know that if your files were named this way every single time, it would help you to be able to search and also be able to know where to go for the information that you need. Seems simple enough, but we just have to apply it. We can use batching or templates, automation, right? AI is I don't think it's ever going to get out of style. So use it to your advantage. Systems don't make you rigid. They actually make you powerful because they give you the freedom to have more clarity in your thinking so that you can make more informed decisions. So in business, I want you to think about, for those of you who are entrepreneurs like myself, I want you to create repeatable SOPs. These are things that you know you're doing, the constant activity that you're doing all the time, and you're just repeating that. You can have an SOP for that, turn that over to someone else so that they can do it. Or what about checklists? I love the fact that one of my sisters, Shayla, she used to have all these different checklists for us to kind of go through. And then time blocking. Time blocking so that you can protect your focus. And that's really pivotal because if you can set aside time, not just for the work, but also for the reset or the decompression time, I think that's super important because a lot of us, if you're like me, I'm a hard charger. I like to go in, I like to get things done, but I also have to really make sure that I have these moments to decompress. And I have this really nifty AI tool called Reclaim It that allows me to be able to set in there, hey, I want to have time for decompression. Maybe I need 5 minutes or 10 minutes or maybe even 20 minutes after a meeting, a training, a coaching call, a keynote, whatever it is. And automatically, when it sees that show up in my calendar, it automatically populates and builds in the decompression time for me. Automation. Who knew? So these are some of the things that are helping me, and I'm hoping it gives you a little bit of freedom to make those decisions for yourself. So what is one system, if organized, would immediately give you relief or momentum in this very week? Think about it. What is one system that's going to give you the momentum that you need to push further faster in this very week? If you can get that down, what is it going to make room for? And then finally, it's about creating space creating success. Let me just say that again. Space creates success. Space creates success. So a cluttered space equals a cluttered mind. But a clear space invites calm, confidence, and creativity. And I have to give kudos and shouts out to one of my colleagues, Sharice, because we were having a conversation after one of my friends, Torrance, her empowerment summit. It was last year. And we all had dinner. We got together and we were talking and, we're talking about how busy our life was. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to start adding this more into my life. And she was like, yeah, okay, when are you going to do that? And I was like, yeah, I'll just do, I was doing one of those things. Y'all know what we do. When we don't really want to answer the question, so we just try to go around the question. But Sharice wasn't letting go around the question. Yeah, she was just like, what you gonna do about that? And at the end of the day, she said, If you don't make room for it, then you're not going to be able to have the level of creativity that you want to have. And I value my creativity. Like, yo, that's a part of my energy, like being creative. And so I had to take into heart what she was saying. Like, am I going to make space for the things that matter so that I have space for the things that matter? So I want you to think about it. How much more can you accomplish if you weren't buried in disorganization? If you could just clear the clutter, how much more would you be able to get done? So this week, my challenge to you is to pick a space, my friends. Yes, pick a space, physical, digital, or workflow that you're going to declutter or reset. And listen, I don't need you to conquer the world this week. Just pick one. It could be the smallest thing on your list. The key thing is just getting started, taking the action. And I want you to tag me. I want you to say, Coach Servola, this is what I'm saying yes to this week, so that I can celebrate you. Listen, I want to celebrate your yes moments and your yes to simplicity and strategy. We got to do this together. It takes a tribe. It takes a tribe to thrive, y'all. It takes a tribe to thrive. So let me be a part of your tribe so we can all thrive together. Listen, that's it for today. Today's episode of The Power of Yes. If something sparked you or it shifts you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, right? Share this episode with a friend. Post your takeaways on social media. And don't forget to tag me at Coach Servola. Let's keep this moment going. And listen, when you say yes to this, you're also giving permission for others to say yes as well. So let's keep the flow going. So until next time, keep showing up, keep anchored in your purpose, and remember, your yes has power.